My name is Suzette Matias. I feel the need to do a video today because I just have some concerns, and I don't know what the big fuss is when people can be so argumentative over Democrats versus Republicans. And a few things that just bothers me to discuss, that why are people so hateful when they don't think the way you think? Don't we have a right to be an independent thinker? Don't we have a right to choose who we think is the best president for our country? I watch, which a lot of people debate with me on Facebook, but I don't know. I just find it very baffling that even if we take Biden and Trump out of the equation and we just focus on what president is good for the position, whether it's Republican or Democrat, don't it just make you just think what's going to benefit you? I'm just baffled. I did a lot of research, and I found out years that blacks and Hispanics, but I'm just going to focus more on blacks right now. But we have given 85 to 90% of a vote to Democrats just faithfully. We have been so devoted to them faithfully. Every presidential campaign, whether we're voting for a mayor or the presidential candidate, we have been so devoted. And I'm just trying to figure out why. I don't understand that. We get nothing in return. We ask for nothing, but we are up there. We are so devoted to hit that little blue button to say that we're a Democrat. And this year, I just, after doing research, I'm not going to say I hate Democrats, but I'm going to say we need change. If they're not going to listen to us and what we believe in, then there's nothing they can do for us. We need to take back our power. We need to have some demands, and nobody's going to fight better for us than us. And I get mad when I see celebrities or any people of color with status who stands up for us. You guys turn on them so fast when they trying to fight for us. And you talk about Trump dividing us, but we divide us. We are so divided. And it's just ridiculous. But this year I changed. I'm not a Democrat. I changed to a conservative because I don't believe in the Democrats. I just believe that they use us to get power over the House because it's a bunch of corruption. They want total, full control this year. That's why they're fighting so hard against Trump. It's a war. It's a war with them. They have to get him out of office, and it's not about us. We up there fighting, but it's not about us. They need total control, the Democrats, to run the office, to do what they've been doing every year. And that's why Trump calls it the swamp, the corruption swamp, because that's exactly what it is. One by one is coming out to show how they have their own personal deals for capital gain. And that money is going into their pockets and their home. It's not benefiting us at all. But we want to sit up there and we want to argue about Biden being the better person or Trump being the better person. But I'm just going to bring out a few things because again, as my belief, because I always say I'm not a Trump supporter and I'm not a Biden supporter, but when I look at the two men and take um I take their background out and just look at the two men and focus on them. Trump, he's got a terrible mouth. I'm like his demeanor is terrible. He's people I can see where people might get a little um upset of the way he acts, but are we just say you're going to hire him for a job? Is that what you're hiring him for? You know, how about the production? How about what he does to make it better? So I'm going to get into some of the things that I believe in him on, not him as a person, but him as what he produced in office. And he has, I guess, since he ran against Hillary, you have to admit everything that he has been consistent, that he said he was going to do, he have done. At least since he's been in office, and he's the only president that pretty much, I'm going to say, just working for free because he donated all his money to charities. He signed the bill to protect children from human trafficking, and we know that is a big, huge business, especially in celebrities, billionaires, a lot of high status corporations know all too well about what human trafficking is, and he has arrested a lot of people that they are not even shown it on media of what he has done. And one thing I want to bring up, Laura Gala, she actually is a good friend of the Clintons, and she was the board of directors and used to put out Amber Alerts for children to be found. And then when you later on you found out she was in Haiti, taking the kids out of there, and they're thinking that the kids are going up for adoption or into a home, and she was involved in a human traffic. So all these kids was being sold, and she was friends to the Clintons. So Hillary has a long record, this long. She needs to be in jail. And I don't know why she's still walking around. She needs to be in jail. Why she keeps coming back. And what's that old expression my mom used to say? She's like a pill well. Pill can't reach, because she needs to go. But getting back to Trump, he also made January the Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So then let's get back to the wall. Everybody talked about the wall, how bad it was. They act like he was the worst person in the world, keeping out all of these immigrations. But what he was talking about, he don't have a problem with anybody coming over here. They just need to come over the right way. They need to do the paperwork, and they need to do whatever they need to do to come here. It's a huge problem, which Democrats don't want to mention. These gangs from Mexico, and he was specifically talking about the M513. I think that's what it's called, M513. That's a terrible group, and they're coming over here and they're committing crimes, and then taxpayers have to taxpayers' money is being I can't get it out. I'm sorry. When they go to jail, it's taxpayers' money. I guess that's okay. That's what I'm trying to say anyway. But another thing, energy independence. He is. We don't have to depend on anyone. He did a tremendous job with that. But no, you got the Democrats want to come in and talk about the green and want to get rid of fuel, want to get rid of fracking, want to get rid of anything that pertains to that, and it's going to be major if they accomplish that. And then Pennsylvania, um, all the states that are involved with that, oh, you better believe it's going to hurt your pockets if you put Biden in the office. And I'm not talking about him, I'm just talking about the Democrats itself, what they believe in. Another thing that people seem to think that is obsolete because they don't want to discuss this, but we're talking about the 1994 crime bill that was signed by Clinton and Biden. And this, he has come in and reformed that bill. I just hated the fact that it was a what was it, three strikes rule and 85% served time. So you realize how many people are incarcerated because of this bill? So through the clemency law, now he has gotten out about 25 to 30 people, which I think that's a good start in the right direction for the time that he's been in office, and we're moving in the right direction with that. The unemployment rate was low until the COVID came, so you have to give him respect for that. He secured, I think it was 10 years, he secured funding for the HBCUs. So you have to give him credit for that as well. Job killing regulations. He cut taxes for middle class, and the opportunity zones, which I think is huge, something that nobody else did. He's encouraging investors or businesses and giving them tax cuts to move back into undeveloped or low-income neighborhoods. So that's huge, and that could be something big if he can continue in office to continue that. And something that we never did before, we are exports instead of imports. So that's good too for business. A lot of business decisions. Bringing manufacturers back in here, something that Obama and Joe Biden said that it could never happen and they could never do. He's bringing them back in. Funding the farmers. That's huge for the farmers, something that wasn't done before. And the military and the police force. He has supported that and believe in that, and he's done that. And that's just, I'm sure there's plenty more that he did, but I'm just mentioning that because that affects, most of that affects the blacks or Hispanics, and just to mention a few more. But I don't know, for us to express our opinion that is outside of your ideology, not mine, it becomes personal, and then you want to attack. So you have to understand what the real issue here. You're fighting for Biden, but you're putting in the whole Democratic Party. It's not about you guys. So if you're in there fighting for Democrat, then you better be fighting for your rights, because that's what you better be doing. Now Biden, I mean, I'm not saying he has changed or anything, but he hasn't proved nothing to me. He's been in office for 47 years. I looked up his accomplishments of what he did, and it is a insult. He has 42 accomplishments that he have done in 47 years. Now, if there's more, please share it with me. But I was very shocked to see that. That's not even one per year out of the years that he served as a Democrat. And other than the fact that I have not seen a positive thing he did for blacks, other than the comments he made against blacks. Y'all want to come out and say Trump's such a racist and he's this and he's a liar. He all that. That's when he's not in office to do work for us based on his personality, and that's what we have to get past. You have to go by what he's doing for us, what he's in office for, and that's that. They both have done bad things, but if you look at the pros and cons of it, they both have done bad things. But Biden sticks out more with me because of the things he said. Not only that he's been in office for 47 years, but I get so many messages of people sending me links to sign or join Women for Biden, this for Biden, blacks for Biden, Hispanics for Biden. Well, I mean, it's certainly a personal choice, but just know why you're voting for him. And that's the other thing, too. Everybody is so quick to ask me who am I voting for, accusing me of Trump, and want to say I don't know the facts about anything. If you don't know your facts and know politics, don't be sitting over here debating with me and arguing me over my beliefs. I'm not trying to get you to vote for anybody other than your choice. My only concern is focus on the narrative. And the narrative is, if you go Democrat, make sure you hold that president accountable for what we need in our community, because that's what it's all about. You don't vote for somebody and then that's it. You just let him go 4 years and do what he want to do, and let the Democratic parties finish their little corruption and making their little business deals over China, Ukraine, Russia, wherever, for their own personal gain. Because I did some research, and I'm going to tell you, the stock market, they already know what's going to come up. They got their families' names in business deals, so it won't come back to them. This is all personal gain, and they're not worrying about us. They're not worrying about our vote. So you better wake up and decide whatever position that you're in. And the other reason, before I get into Biden, that I want to discuss, we should not even be claiming Democrat. Democrat is not ours. We was raised as a Republican, a proud Republican. If you do your research, you go online, you'll see the Black Republic Party, who started it. And these was right after slavery. These were self-made black businessmen who started a Republican Party, proud black men. And I'm not going to get into too much of the history, but, Andrew Jackson, I believe, is in 1870. He was one of the ones who started all of this, convincing us that Democrats, making us switch to Democrats. And according to the history, they lied to the Democrats, giving them all these promises if they were to switch to Democrats. And since then, that's why it's called today the Democratic Plantation, because they're the ones who started it. And believe it or not, we're still being suppressed. We're still being in this brainwash mentality that Democrats is the best thing for us, and it's not. It's keeping people on welfare. It's keeping people anything dependent on the government. That's what it's doing. So and we're happy with that, as long as we can get subsidy or any government funding. We're happy with that, and we shouldn't be happy with that. But getting back to Biden, I just, it is as much as the things that people want to argue with me about Trump and say that he says racial things and talk about him. I don't find how y'all don't see anything wrong with what Biden says. I really don't. I get sick to my stomach when I hear him speak. I get sick to my stomach when I hear him say black kids are just as talent and bright as white kids. What does he mean by that? Like all white kids are smart, and we need to get to that. The kids need to get to that level, as white kids. I'm still trying to figure that out. That's still working around me right now. And then he says, unlike black communities, this is where the Latinos come from. Latino community is diverse, but depending on what state they're from. And it was funny when I heard that statement, because I went back and watched a program the other day from Florida, and they had the statistics showing the Cubans being divided by the Hispanics, but the percentage of who they're voting for. And that was very interesting to me, because it had the Cubans voting for Republicans, sorry. And then they had Hispanics voting for Democrat. And then the percentage was pretty much the same. It was like 70 to 80%. But when they talked about the Cubans, they said, oh, they come over here. They want to live the American way. They want to have ownership to property, businesses. They want a hard-earned way of life. And then when they get to the other side of the Hispanics, they asked one person, what are you voting for Democrats for? And one person came up and said, Social Security. And my mouth just went like, are you kidding me? Now I see where Joe Biden got that statement of diversity, because it clearly showed how that was divided. They looked at the Cubans as being high class and the Hispanics as being low class. So Democrats depend on you guys. They know they're not going to get the Cubans, but they depend on you guys. But the other thing, he mentioned about 7-Eleven. You can't go into a 7-Eleven without having a slight Indian accent. So now he insults them now, okay? So I think and then on okay, I can't think of the name of the show. The Breakfast Club. I'm sorry, Breakfast Club. He says, if you have to decide whether you choose Trump or me, then you're not black. So right there, that's an insult to us. And then he comes back and apologizes because he thinks we're dumb. First of all, it's not about whether we vote for him or Trump. It's about us having a intelligent mind and to decide who we're going to vote for and what we're going to gain from that vote. That's the main thing that we're concerned about, not whether we're black and we should vote for you, Joe Biden. So that was another thing that bothered me with that one. And then I watched a show one day, and they wouldn't show the person, but I'm going to assume the person was black because they was interviewing him, and he kept asking him a question, and he was getting, like he always get a little upset when he's getting too many questions asked. So then he didn't like what the reporter said, and he told him they're going to put him back in chains. And I know you guys saw that, but but just getting back to that one, and then the other thing that he talks about that really bothers me too, he gets into talking about a two-party system from down south where we're too good for the South and too good for the Negroes. So I'm still looking into that, because I that just kind of went over my head. I some things he say, I just, okay, it's like whatever. And now the other thing that bothered me too, which he lied, and he got, I'm jumping, I'm sorry. But every speech he says, if you go back and do your research, it's another person's speech that he done copy word for word. And somebody put him on blast on that because I forgot what it was, but I was watching that and I was like, he don't even know how to make his own speeches. It's really crazy how he does that. But to try to get black votes, and what's insulting to me is that he lied about being a part of the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King. He was never a part of that with the march or anything, but he brought it up and then he later came back and apologized. He lied about being over. He did go to Africa, but what he lied about was about while he was visiting Nelson Mandela. Somehow the buses got divided for some reason. I guess with how many people they put on one bus or how many people they put on another bus to go visit Nelson Mandela. But he came back and lied and said that he was arrested in South Africa while he was visiting Nelson Mandela. And then later on when somebody fact checked him, he came back and he said he lied and he apologized. So this is the man that we're talking about, that is just repeated. And then I don't know if you ever got this story, and this is terrible to me because this is he profiled a black man, and he came back and said that somebody tried to. He lied and said somebody tried to. Did he say murder him? I think he said murder him. Somebody tried to murder him, and then he retracted on that story because he lied on that one as well. But he was, everybody wants to connect Trump to the KKK, but Biden was connected to the KKK. I can't think of the man's name, which was a part of the KKK, but you can fact check me on that and answer me back on that. But he was a part of him helping him pass the bill for the 1994 crime bill. And you think that, and we listening to him, you would think that he would come back and say, well, yes, I passed it back then, but I realized it was a mistake. I apologize. We got no apology for that. No apology for that. A lot of black men and Hispanic men have gotten locked up under this crime bill, and this bill is horrific. It has the 3-strike rule. It has regardless of what you do and what the judge will grant that time on, you're serving 85% of that time, and he has not apologized. And instead of you thanking Trump for the clemency law, you're not even being appreciative of the people that he got out. Somebody came back and answered me, well, he only got 30 people out. Well, guess what? He's been in service for 4 years. So if he got 30 people out, just think how many more people he can get out on the rest of the time that he's in there or be reelected. That law still has to be passed regardless of who's in there. We need to get the men out and get them reformed as well as the bill being reformed. So I don't even want to hear about that. That's a move in the right direction, and he did it. And I think I mentioned of him about fuel and fracking. Now Pennsylvania done did all this early voting, and now when they found out that he opposed fuel and fracking, now they had an article up there by Google saying that there was so many searches up there from Pennsylvania from people who wanted to learn how to change their vote. That's why it's so much better to wait until the end, do your research. Don't hate a person for what you think they are, and don't let nobody control your thinking. Be an independent thinker. Even if you vote for Biden, it was your independent thinking that put you to that position. Don't let anybody hate you for your decision. Just know what's best for you. And something else I want to mention too. which they're not going to never mention about Trump with all his peace deals. No president has ever did that. He has actually either 3 or 4 Nobel Peace nominations coming up, and he earned them. Unlike I can say when Obama got into office, he got one 3 weeks after he became president, and I'm still trying to figure out and do research what was it for. I don't even know what it was for, but he got one. So that's my personal thing. I don't have nothing personal against Biden. I just don't think that, you hear him speak, and I'm not the only one who sits there and look at him and think, what is he talking about? And and I just can't see this man being a businessman talking to other leaders in foreign countries, having a meeting representing us. I can't see past that. Now, if you think it's wrong, hit me a note and tell me something different, but I don't see that. I just can't see that. He's not a person to handle business, but I know once, if he becomes president and he wins over Trump, we know who's going to be running that country, running this country. And it's not going to be Biden. They might have him sitting home in the basement, and the rest of them in the White House is going to run this party. And then you're all going to sit back and look like, what did I do? I mean, what did I really do? You're going to say, I wanted Biden in there so bad over Trump. No matter what he did, he's better than having Trump in the office. But that would be your decision that y'all make. But I just wanted to share some things with you guys because I personally believe that God used him to get him in that office, to get rid of all this corruption and all these swamp team. That's what I believe, because he was the only person who could handle it. And this is my opinion, not nobody else's, but I just believe that they're more mad that he's not in politics and was able to come in and win the presidency over Clinton. And I think that's what they're more mad about, that he defeated all of them. That's that whole little team to me. The Bidens, Obamas, Clintons, Bush, and the rest of them who want to follow under them. I'm sure there's going to be a story to be told that's going to come out. Because when you're corrupted like that and you're doing undercover deals for personal gains, it's going to come out. It's not going to last forever. So I say whoever president is elected for the 2020 campaign, hold them accountable. That's my story, and you guys have a blessed day. That's it. Thanks for watching my YouTube video.